Hey guys, Fishin N Stuff. Today, we're making some rod holders. So don't go anywhere. I keep getting in the comment section, make a rod holder. And I've been thinking about doing it for a while. So today, I'm going to attempt to do it. I use monster rod holders made by Steve Douglas, which are great rod holders. We're not affiliated in any way, but I highly recommend them. If you're not the type person that likes doing DIYs, you should check them out. And I'll leave a link to his website in the description box below. But if you are the type person that wants to make your own stuff, we're about to start chopping stuff up and getting to it. What we're going to use for this project, I have some 1/4-inch plate left over, so I'm just going to use it to make a jig. We're going to be welding pipes to it. You can weld them to a weld table if you have one and cut them off afterwards. I got some stainless steel 1/2 by 13 pitch thread bolts, 4 inches long, and I got some 3/8 rod. A lot of rod holders are not stainless steel. This one just has a corrosion coating on it. On the monster rod holders, if you put a magnet on the bottom, it won't stick. But if you go up to the top, magnet sticks. So the top part of it's steel and the bottom stainless. You don't really need to use stainless up here because this rubber coating is going to prevent it from ever rusting. I'm getting ready to cut my steel plate to make a jig. And I have a 2-inch pipe, which is about the width of most rod holders, so I'm going to be welding onto it. And then I have a smaller pipe. This pipe doesn't really matter what size it is, but I'm going to cut this plate off and start making a jig. I got my plate cut, got it cleaned up. Now I'm gonna cut the threads off of these pipes. This one's a galvanized water pipe. And I wouldn't have bought galvanized, but it's the only 2-inch pipe I could find. This one's just a gas pipe. I'm gonna cut the threads off of them, and then we're gonna weld them to our plate. Got my pipe cut them both off the same length. They're about 6 inches tall now. I got my plate right here. I got some 3/8 rod on it. We're gonna weld the 2-inch pipe on here, and you wanna take your other pipe, and all it is a stop. We're gonna do our bending on this one. You wanna kinda make it tight like that, and that's where you wanna weld it. This one will be your stop. This one will be the one you use to bend around. Now we just got to tack this on. That'll make our jig, and that's the hardest part about this. Then we can start bending. Okay, so I got my little jig ready. I tack welded it down, and I went ahead and grinded the places that the rod holder's gonna touch smooth. Like this one here doesn't matter because nothing's gonna touch it. On the rod, I went ahead and cut a piece 48 inches long. I'm not sure how long it needs to be, so I might waste a little bit. Hopefully it's long enough. I marked the center of it at 24 inches. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay it in my jig. This pole's to stop. So when I bend it, it'll stop that side and we'll wrap it around this pole. You want it where your center mark's going to end up right in the center of your 2-inch pole. The way we're going to bend it, I'm going to set this on a piece of steel and I'm going to slide it out, and I'm going to heat this section here that's going to get bent with some MAP gas. Now you can use propane, but MAP gas gets a little bit hotter than propane. But we'll just heat our rod and go ahead and bend it around and see how it comes out. Okay, now that you got it bent, we got this U-bolt shape, and I've marked my bend lines where they need to be. Now we'll have to take it over to the brake press. We're gonna have to use the Harbor Freight brake press I made. If you hadn't seen it, if you're interested, go check it out. If you want a monster style rod holder, you're gonna have to have a brake. But I marked my bend lines right where these would be. We'll take it over there and bend it. But before we do, say you wanted to make a fish bite rod holder. What I would do, I would get like a 1 3/4 or 1.5 inch tube instead of a 2-inch tube. Bend this U-bolt shape and then put it back in there like that. Heat both of these and bend it around again, and you'll get that classic fish bite shape. And the reason I mention a fish bite rod holder is a buddy of mine at work, Mr. Matt Paysor. He let me borrow one of his rod holders that he made. I ran into him at the scrapyard one day, and he was buying some round stock. Told me he was gonna make some rod holders, and I asked him to see them, and they kind of look like fish bite rod holders. You can make them with this same jig pretty easy. Just do your first bend, your second bend like I show you, and then weld in your cross braces. But I got monster rod holders on my boat, so that's what I'm making mine like, because I'll probably end up using this thing, and I'm gonna try to match these so it'll match the rest of my rod holders. By the way, a lot of people that watches my DIYs, they ask me if I sell stuff, which I don't. I just make YouTube videos. But if you're wanting some good rod holders, you should check out Fish Bite Rod Holders or Monster Rod Holders. Steve Douglas makes really good rod holders. And I'll put a link to both of these companies in the description box below. Go check them out. After doing a little studying where the bend lines are, if we don't bend this bend and this bend first, I think the rod holder is going to hit the press. This bend's a 60 and this bend's 60 degrees. So we need to bend this bend, that bend, and then bend the middle. Okay, I set the rod holder down here. I'll take our part and put it next to it. It's pretty dang close. Not bad for a first try. Angle's just about perfect. Anyway, let's do our top bend and check it. Alright, we got our top bend done. This is the top bend. This is the bottom bend. And there's the center we hadn't done yet. This is this bend. This is this bend up here. And now we need to do this center bend, which is those marks over there. Alright, this is starting to look like something now. Now we need to cut the excess off of the ends here and weld in our center braces here, here, and here. Okay, we got our bottom brace cut. That'll be that brace right there. Now we need to weld it in and then cut the other two. Okay, we got that bottom brace welded on. Now we need to weld on this brace and the top one. And they look like they're bent on a 60-degree angle to me. We're gonna have to go back to the brake press and bend those pieces. Okay, we got our cross braces welded in. And you may have noticed, I made my little top prongs a little bit taller than the monster ones. But I did that on purpose. I didn't mess up on the design. Some people pull boards off their side rod holders, like that one over there. Well, I've been pulling planer boards before, and I've had a rod get hung up, popped off the top of this thing, and I almost lost it, but I caught it. Since I'm designing what I want, I made mine just a little bit taller, but the rest of it's the same except for I use 3/8 and these are made out of 1/2 inch. The fish bites are made out of 3/8 on the top and they're fine. So this is just an idea to show you how to make your own rod holder. I'm not going into business of making rod holders. But like I said, the top of the monsters are steel too. Magnet sticks to it. But the bottom part, this down here, is stainless steel. What I did was buy a 1/2 inch 13 pitch thread bolt. I'm gonna cut the head of it and I'm gonna weld it onto the base here. And then it'll start looking like a rod holder. And there we are. Got our base on. Now we're ready to dip this thing. Plastidip is about $70 a gallon and Flex Seal is about $89 a gallon. And I didn't really want to spend that just to make one rod holder to dip. But I mean, that's expensive, but 6 of these are 120 bucks. If you catfish, most people have like 12 of these, so that's $240. I mean, you could buy a gallon of Plastidip and make your own. And the thing about making these, I mean, it turned out pretty good. The thing about making anything is the first time you try it is not going to be your best one. And this is the first time I've tried this. I would prefer to dip these, honestly, in Plastidip or Flex Seal. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray them with the Plastidip spray. And it's probably going to take 3 or 4 coats. I don't know. I hadn't really done one from a raw state with Plastidip. When it comes to this part of the video, I made another video. That video was about customizing your rod holders, like painting them different colors to make them the way you want them. That video may help you with this video. So go watch it when you're done. And don't be afraid to try something new. We're going to take the bottom off to keep the Plastidip out of the threads. And then we're going to start coating this thing and see how it turns out. Dipping it would definitely be easier than this. It took about 5 layers of Plastidip to coat this rod holder, which is a whole can basically. And after I got through Plastidipping it, I hit it with a Plastidip Glossifier to give it some shine because Plastidip's dull. And then I painted the tops red to match my existing rod holders because I'm not planning on making any more. I just did a video because people keep asking me to make a rod holder. Well, challenge accepted. But it turned out pretty good, I think, for a first try. Them bases are freaking awesome. I got DIY about that too. Go check it out. Don't ever be afraid to try something yourself. Turned out better than I thought it would. If you do like DIYs, then go check out my channel page. I have a lot of DIYs that might interest you and it might save you some money. And if you do like it, remember to click subscribe and click the bell so YouTube will notify you when I post videos and you can watch them. Until the next build, I'll see you next time.